The dawn of Flight Day 4 on board Space Shuttle Discovery signaled another day of assembly on the International Space Station and the first of several planned spacewalks for members of the station's second resident crew. Saturday afternoon, while astronauts Jim Voss and Susan Helms suited up in the shuttle for the first spacewalk of the mission, their expedition commander, Yuri Usachov, who transferred onto the station shortly after docking Saturday morning in exchange for cosmonaut Yuri Gitzenko, was being briefed on station operations by Expedition 1 Commander Bill Shepard and Flight Engineer Sergei Krikalev. They'll soon trade places with Helms and Voss to complete their tour of duty on ISS. Pilot Jim Kelly set up at the controls of the robotic arm, which both he and mission specialist Andy Thomas would operate on Discovery's flight deck, next to the spot where mission specialist Paul Richards would oversee the spacewalk timeline. Voss and Helms floated out of the airlock Saturday night and went right to work. To set the stage for later movement of pressurized mating adapter number 3, they crawled up the Destiny lab module to the Unity node and unplugged all the power and data cables running between that docking adapter and the node. Then, while Helms prepared some equipment in the shuttle's payload bay, Voss got into a foot restraint on the robot arm and removed the early communication system antenna from the docking mechanism on Unity's port side, clearing the spot for PMA-3. The antenna was brought back inside the station. Next, Kelly moved Voss down to the payload bay so he and Helms could retrieve the lab cradle assembly, the platform upon which the space station's robotic arm will be deployed during a shuttle mission scheduled for next month. Kelly maneuvered Voss and the mechanism to the top side of the lab so he and Helms could secure it in place. At that point, the spacewalk was running about an hour behind schedule, due primarily to the need to retrieve a replacement tool component after the original one floated away. And spacecraft communicator Gerhard Thiele informed the crew of a new plan to get them back on schedule.
And Jim, Susan, you're doing great out there. We see you slightly behind timeline, and in order to not put us in a corner, we plan on deferring the connect rigid umbilical cables to EVA2, which should put you right back with plenty of time for this EVA. There's no problem with that at all. We have discussed that back and forth, and no other changes to the flight plan.
Sounds good. Okay, that was the backup plan. Sounds great.
Helms, now in the foot restraint on the robot arm, and Voss unbolted the rigid umbilical from its stowage site in the payload bay. The rigid umbilical is a harness containing delicate power, data, and video cables that will link the station's new robot arm to the lab module. Once it was released, Helms took hold and Kelly maneuvered her around to the underside of Destiny, where the spacewalkers bolted it into place. The job of connecting the cables in that harness to the lab was deferred to the spacewalk planned for Thomas and Richards on Flight Day 6. With that task complete, Helms got out of the foot restraint and joined Voss in cleaning up in the payload bay. The spacewalkers stowed their tools, re-entered the shuttle's airlock, put their spacesuits back on shuttle power, and waited, while Thomas took control of the robot arm and raised it high above Discovery's payload bay toward the pressurized mating adapter on Unity that the spacewalkers had disconnected earlier. Thomas moved the end of the robot arm toward the grapple fixture on the PMA, which was installed on Unity last October and served as the docking port for the subsequent shuttle missions that delivered the station's giant solar arrays and the lab.
Houston to PDRS, here comes the grapple.
Thomas activated the snares inside the robot arm's end effector, firmly grabbing onto the PMA. Commander Jim Weatherby ordered the Unity node's docking mechanism to release its hold on the PMA. Thomas gently pulled the docking port away from the station, and Weatherby closed the pedals on that common berthing mechanism. Thomas then slowly moved the pressurized mating adapter a quarter of the way around the node. With the help of a computer-generated graphic display and the positional readings generated by the arm itself, he aligned the docking adapter with the portside common berthing mechanism and mated the PMA to the Unity node. That done, the shuttle airlock was repressurized, and Voss and Helms' spacewalk was concluded. at an official duration of 8 hours and 56 minutes, the longest ever in the nearly 20-year history of the Space Shuttle program. The relocation of PMA-3 sets the stage for another first, Sunday night's planned installation on Unity of the multi-purpose logistics module, the moving van of the International Space Station program.
Now you see tonight's spacewalkers, Susan Helms on the left, Jim Voss on the right, soon to become space station crew members. Their commander, Yuri Usachov.
Susan, Jim, you're looking great, both of you.
Thanks, Gerhardt. We had tried to report earlier that we had started EMU prep on time, or EVA prep on time.
Thanks.
Again, Helms and Voss soon to become space station crew members. Their commander, Yuri Usachov, moved across from the shuttle to the station to begin his handover with Expedition 1 Commander Bill Shepard in the wee hours earlier today. Usachov reported that he had moved his Soyuz seedliner over from the shuttle to the Soyuz vehicle on the International Space Station at 4:34 a.m. Central Time this morning. At that point, Soyuz pilot Yuri Gudzenko moved over to become a member of the shuttle crew. The suit with the red stripes on the knees that you're looking at right now will be worn by Jim Voss this evening. Susan Helms will wear the pure white suit. You see Jim Kelly in the picture, Discovery's pilot. He will share robot arm duties tonight with Andy Thomas, who floated out of the field of view just a moment ago. Kelly essentially will be moving Voss around, who will be affixed in a foot restraint at the end of the robot arm, like a telephone repairman at the end of a cherry picker. Kelly then will yield robot arm duties to Andy Thomas late in tonight's spacewalk when Voss and Helms are back inside the airlock, as Thomas will be responsible for the movement of that docking adapter from its current location on the Unity module to another berthing location about 45 degrees to the port side of Unity. There's a good view into the airlock of Discovery.
Houston Discovery for EDA.
Paul, go ahead.
Yes, we're in on page 4-4, and we're ready for step 21, configuring the air-to-ground to 1 and sending biomed data.
Thanks. We copied, and Paul, we have words for Jim and Susan about a CBM pedal cover. Whenever it's convenient, I wait for you to give me a go-ahead to inform you about this.
Okay, Haas, yeah, I can take those notes. They're going to be busy getting in, and I could take those notes and brief them during the pre-brief. Wait till we get through the prep.
And now we're looking straight up at the aft flight deck of Discovery, where Commander Jim Weatherby was positioned early this morning in completing the docking of Discovery to the International Space Station, looking out of those overhead windows. That is where Jim Kelly and Andy Thomas will be positioned this evening as they operate the shuttle's robot arm. First to move Jim Voss around as he is affixed at the end of that arm as part of his spacewalking chores this evening, and later on as Andy Thomas grapples the docking adapter, which is currently mated to the nadir berthing mechanism on the Unity module, and moves it to the port side of Unity. We now are taking live television from Discovery.
Handrail number?
Susan Helms is near the
0245.
window on the Destiny laboratory that you can see the window cover in the open configuration. Jim Voss near the top of your screen, working near pressurized mating adapter number 3. That window is on the bottom or underneath side of the laboratory, so it can view the Earth.
And if you guys have time, look above the port forward side of the shuttle, and you'll be amazed at a big full moon. It's bright.
I'm amazed at that big arm, but I know where there's a bigger one.
I'm headed back, Paul. Okay, Jim, you're going to head back to lab with 01. And did you transfer the safety tether reel to handrail 225? I left it on the APFR. Okay, copy that. Jim, I'll start moving the arm over to the pad install position. Okay, I'll meet you there.
Okay. The forward tang is installed, Paul.
Okay, Susan, and both quarter turns are plunges are turned?
Yes, they are.
Okay, while we're waiting, you can probably go on the other side and install the aft one.
Okay, I'll do that. Well, while I have a minute here, I just want to say happy birthday to my mother. I think she's 68 today. And Mom, I just couldn't think of a better way to spend your birthday. Sorry I'm not with you, though.
I'm sure she'll be happy, and watching you doing a really good job on the CVA will make her a very happy and proud mom.
I'm not sure she'd want to be with me right now.
Okay, I've removed the antenna. I am tethered to it. I'm going to put it on my BRT for temp stowage. First, I'll fold it down. I have folded the stanchion. It's against the bottom of the antenna. Copy that. Okay, it's secured it on the BRT. I'm going to put it behind me.
Okay, Paul, that MPEV valve is now closed again.
Okay, Susan, good job and good timing because you can head back down to the fish stringer and Jim should bring the antenna to you.
All righty. It's easier the second time. Got my position down.
I'm almost caught up with you, Susan. You've been doing good work to get ahead. Good job. Vegas, we continue moving out of the bay.
Copy, out of the bay, Jim.
I'll get it, Susan, if you want. Go ahead and head off to the...
Yeah, I think I'll go get those
things. I'll get that pin. That's the last one, right?
Right.
Okay. Vegas, stop.
I'll stop.
Just a minute here.
And Discovery Houston, for your information, we are with you on the flight deck.
Copy that. Thanks, Ken. Okay, well, I see you trying to get off. I'll stop right there, and you can GCA me to a good spot.
Oh, okay. You're doing fine. I was just loosening up the feet.
Okay.
You continue on. Or are you where you wanted to be?
No, I'm real close, so...
Go ahead.
Looks like it might help to pitch you in a little bit so you can get a little bit of cant on your legs.
Yeah. I need to get on the handrails. I don't want to grab this stuff too tight. Let's see, and I can help all this by going back. That's looking pretty good right there. Probably need to move into structure, or let's see, want to go out of the bay about 6 inches.
Hey, Vegas, I'm ready to go to the airlock.
Okay, Susan, I'm going to move you well away from the lab here so we get out of Jim's way, and then I'll bring you back in over on the starboard side.
And for Paul's edification, the lock is still inside the bit pin for the cap.
Okay, that's good news.
And Paul, remind me, where am I heading?
You're heading to lab with 8.
8. Is that the one that's down on the end of the forward end?
No,
have we changed, or is this the same place?
it's at the LCC work site. LCA work site?
LCA work site, okay. Understand.
And it'll be on the starboard side of the work site.
Okay.
Discovery Houston,
The pad is tethered to a rack.
Okay, good call.
for your information, camera Delta is getting warm. We'd like for it to go off at this time.
Copy, camera Delta off.
Good copy.
I have the pad. The arm can go.
Okay, good news, Susan. Thank you, Susan. I'm going to back it away from you towards aft in the bay and clear out of there.
Okay. And I'm going to take the pad inside to the internal fish stringer since we had a hook out here.
Undo the... Yes, I would appreciate that. And
Okay.
so, Andy. And Houston Discovery, the arm is released from EDA ops.
And Discovery Houston, we copy. Thank you.
Jim, your next step is the slide wire cover.
And that's complete.
And Velcro. Say again?
I'm working on the wire now through the Velcro.
And Susan, did you bring the fish stringer in?
No, Jim's going to hand it in.
Flight controllers report a successful grapple of the PMA-3 by the Canadian robotic arm on Discovery. This downlink of PMA-3 in motion comes to us as Discovery's on a northeasterly heading approaching the equator. This ground track will take it up over the southwestern United States and through an orbital sunrise.
How are you doing there, Susan?
Good. Good.
Good.
That's a television showing pressurized mating adapter number 3 firmly attached to the left-hand common berthing mechanism of the Unity node. That installation was concluded at 7:43 a.m. Central Time. Astronauts Jim Voss and Susan Helms are expected to get a go to repressurize the airlock aboard Discovery. Their spacewalk already is the longest in shuttle program history at 8 hours 38 minutes. Previous longest spacewalk in the shuttle program was during STS-49 in May of 1992. That spacewalk lasted 8 hours 29 minutes. It was a 3-man manual grab of the Intelsat. Previous longest spacewalk on the International Space Station was during STS-96 in May of 1999 by Tammy Jernigan and Bob Berry. That spacewalk lasted 7 hours 55 minutes.